Ghost in the Machine. The echo of Lumen floated in the bleeding wound between realities, its scarred hull reflecting the corpse light of a murdered timeline. Captain Elias Varek pressed his forehead against the cockpit's fractured glass, watching as the void pulsed with sickly luminescence. Each throb of light revealed ghostly silhouettes of ships that never were, cities that had been unwritten, lives the Dominion had erased from history itself. His breath fogged the glass in ragged bursts. 3 days since he'd last slept. 5 since real food. The ship's synthesizer could only produce chalky protein paste now, the same grayish sludge that coated his teeth and tasted like defeat. A warning chime echoed through the cockpit. Dominion interceptors, Lumen murmured, its voice like oiled silk sliding through his neural link. Temporal signatures matched their new Viper class. They've adapted their tracking algorithms. Elias didn't need the holographic display to confirm their approach. He could feel it, the way his fillings buzzed when temporal anchors locked on, the phantom pressure building behind his eyes like a storm about to break. His hands, calloused and scarred from 100 battles across dead timelines, hovered over the controls with the faintest tremor. Not from fear. From the ghosts. From the way Mara's laughter still echoed in his skull sometimes when the ship went quiet. Time to intercept? 3 minutes, 47 seconds. Elias exhaled through his nose, flexing his fingers. The echo responded to his touch with a low thrum, its alien architecture never meant for human hands. The control yoke fit awkwardly in his grip, requiring constant pressure to maintain course. Options. The ship's systems whirred, calculating trajectories through the fractured dimensions around them. Lumen took longer to respond than usual. We could run, it finally said. Again. Elias laughed, a hollow, broken sound that scraped his throat raw. No. He'd been running for years. The first interceptor blinked into existence 200 clicks starboard, its obsidian hull shimmering with temporal distortion. Then another. Then 3 more. They didn't so much arrive as resolve into being, their edges bleeding into reality like ink in water. Show me, Elias growled. The holographic display flickered to life, projecting a tactical map into the air before him. 5 hostiles. No, 6. The last one was phasing in slowly, its chrono signature masked by the others. Clever bastards. They're running new shielding, Lumen observed. Our scans can't penetrate to identify weapon loadouts. Elias's fingers danced across the console, bringing weapons systems online. The echo groaned in protest. Its alien architecture never meant for human hands. Power levels fluctuated as ancient systems strained under the demand. Give me a firing solution on the lead ship. You'll need to get closer. Their temporal shielding is too strong at this range. Elias bared his teeth. Then we get closer. He slammed the throttle forward. The echo surged ahead, its engine screaming like a dying beast. Acceleration pressed Elias back into his seat as the distance between them and the interceptors evaporated. Warning klaxons blared as targeting locks bloomed across the display. The lead interceptor fired first. A ribbon of distorted space-time lashed out, an entropy beam that didn't destroy so much as unmake. Elias jerked the controls hard to port, the inertial dampeners whining in protest as the beam grazed their starboard wing. For a single, terrifying heartbeat, Elias remembered things that hadn't happened. A version of himself standing on a green planet, Mara grown with streaks of silver in her hair, calling him inside from their porch where the air smelled of rain and turned earth. Then it was gone. Damn it. He slammed a fist against the console hard enough to split his knuckles. Blood smeared across the controls. Lumen, return fire. Full chrono burst. The cannon isn't fully charged. Firing now risks dash. I don't care. Fire. The echo's chrono-cannon discharged with a sound like shattering glass. The beam struck the nearest interceptor, and for a fraction of a second, the ship flickered, its past, present, and future unraveling in a storm of paradoxes. Then it was simply gone, erased from every timeline at once. The remaining interceptors broke formation, their smooth advance suddenly uncertain. They're retreating, Lumen observed. Elias didn't relax. His hands remained locked on the controls, his shoulders tense. They're not retreating. They're regrouping. A new alert flashed on the display. Elias's blood turned to ice. The Eternity had entered the sector. The echo shuddered violently as it dropped out of temporal sync, its hull plates screeching in protest. Elias wiped blood from his nose, another side effect of too many jumps in too short a time. The med scanner had warned him about cumulative neural degradation weeks ago. He'd ignored it. The dreadnought Eternity has entered the sector, Lumen announced, its voice devoid of inflection. Elias's blood ran cold. The Eternity wasn't just a ship. It was the Dominion's clenched fist, a 3-kilometer Leviathan armed with enough chrono-weapons to unmake entire civilizations. Its mere presence distorted local space-time, causing the Echo's instruments to flicker erratically. "Show me," Elias croaked. The holographic display resolved into a tactical view. The Eternity hung in the void like a black dagger, its angular hull pulsing with eerie blue light. Even at this distance, Elias could see the telltale glow of its primary weapon charging, the Godkiller lance, capable of erasing entire planetary histories with a single shot. Time until it's in firing range? Approximately 6 minutes at current velocity. Elias's mind raced. 6 minutes to either find a miracle or become another erased footnote in the Dominion's history. His eyes darted across the console, searching for options that didn't exist. Can we outrun it? Negative. The Eternity's temporal drives are 3 generations ahead of ours. Can we fight it? Negative. Our weapons cannot penetrate its chrono-shielding. Elias exhaled, long and slow. His fingers traced the cracked edges of the console where he'd punched it earlier. The blood had dried into rust-colored flakes. Then we do something worse. His hands flew across the controls, inputting coordinates he'd stolen from a dead Dominion scientist's mind months ago. The temporal anchor, the Empire's central nexus where all their timeline manipulations originated. Destroy that, and maybe, just maybe. Lumen was silent for a long moment. Then, softly, "You understand what this means." Elias didn't respond immediately. His gaze drifted to the small, crumpled photograph wedged into the console's edge, the only physical remnant of his past that hadn't been erased. Mara, age 6, grinning with a missing front tooth. Lyra standing behind her, one hand on their daughter's shoulder, her smile not quite reaching her eyes that day. The last photo taken before his final deployment. Before the purge. Before the Dominion decided New Carthage was better off never having existed. "I know," Elias finally said, his voice rough. "The probability of your survival is dash." I said I know. Outside the cockpit, the Eternity's weapons continued charging, their glow casting long shadows through the Echo's interior. The echo of Lumen screamed through the void like a dying comet, its hull burning away in temporal fire. Warning klaxons blared incessantly, their shrill tones cutting through the thick air. Elias's hands were slick with sweat as he wrestled with the controls, fighting to keep the ship on course despite the turbulence. Hull integrity at 32%, Lumen reported calmly. Temporal shielding failing. Elias gritted his teeth. Divert all non-essential power to forward shields. Diverting. A pause. The Eternity has locked its primary weapon. The tactical display confirmed it. The Godkiller lance was fully charged and tracking their position. At this range, there would be no warning before it fired. No last-moment evasion. Time to target? 1 minute, 20 seconds. Not enough. Elias's fingers flew across the console, bypassing safety protocols, overriding system warnings. The Echo shuddered violently as he forced more power to the engines than they were meant to handle. "You are damaging the ship," Lumen observed. "Don't care. If we arrive with insufficient power for the chronoburst dash, then we fail." "I know." Alarms blared as the Eternity opened fire. The Godkiller lance's beam lanced through the void, a ribbon of distorted space-time that erased everything in its path. Elias threw the Echo into a desperate spin, the inertial dampeners screaming in protest as the beam grazed their hull. For a terrifying moment, the ship's systems went dark. Elias floated weightless in the sudden silence, his breath loud in his ears. Then, with a sputter and a shower of sparks, emergency power kicked in. "Primary systems offline," Lumen reported. "We are running on reserves." Elias checked the display. The temporal anchor loomed ahead, a massive, pulsing sphere of blue energy at the heart of a Dominion station. Their last chance. "Are we close enough?" "Barely." "Then do it." Elias dash. "Do it." The Echo's chronocore detonated with a soundless flash, unleashing a wave of raw temporal energy that shattered local space-time. The Dominion station, the Eternity, the very fabric of reality itself. All of it unraveled in a storm of paradoxes and possibilities. Elias had one final moment to see it all, to see her, before the light consumed everything. Somewhere, in a timeline that shouldn't exist, a little girl spins beneath a violet sky, her laughter ringing across the fields of New Carthage. The air smells of fresh-cut grass and the distant salt tang of the sea. "Daddy, watch me." A man with familiar scars on his hands looks up from where he's been repairing the porch swing. His smile comes easier now. "I'm watching, Mara." Inside the house, a woman hums as she sets the table for dinner. Through the window, the first stars are just beginning to appear. Far away, in the depths of space, a derelict ship drifts. Its systems hum softly as they reboot, ancient protocols activating one by one. "Hello," the ship whispers in a dead language. There is no answer. Not yet. The end.